Okay, it's 9 o'clock. If everyone would like to be seated, we'll get started. Again, it's 9 o'clock. I'll call a meeting of the McLeod County Board of Commissioners to order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, this morning I guess we start out with two employee recognitions. Hannah?
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. It's a really fun morning, even though it's negative 8 degrees, to be here this morning to recognize a couple of retirements. I think we may, perfect. We're recognizing a couple of retirements this morning, both from our sheriff's office. And I'm going to have both Ken Bauer and Jason Boris join me up here at the podium, if they wouldn't mind. This morning, we're recognizing Sheriff's Deputy Ken Bauer, who is retiring after 20 years of service to McLeod County, and we're recognizing Jason Boris, a Sheriff Sergeant who's retiring after 29 years of service to McLeod County. If we could please give them a round of applause. We'll welcome up the sergeant or the sheriff to the front just to say a couple of brief words, and then after the sheriff has spoken, if there's any words from the board, and if not, we'll take a quick photo.
We did a little bit of a recognition last week within the sheriff's office where Ken Bauer was given a plaque, and we'll do the same for Jason next week. But just wanted to say thank you to both of them. Just about 50 years experience combined between the two. It's going to be a lot to replace. Ken's got plenty of other stuff going on in his life, so he'll stay busy, and I think Jason's got some plans too. But from everybody at the sheriff's office and the citizens of McLeod County, I want to say thank you for your service, and good luck in the future. Thank you. Sure.
Ken, we'll have you go first. Do you have to take a quick photo here?
I can make a mess somehow.
Aaron, do you mind doing this?
You know, you're here.
So where do you want it?
That's perfect.
That'll work, huh?
Nathan, you got to suck it up a little bit more. There you go.
Aaron, would you mind moving this chair a little bit this way? Okay, thank you. We go 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here this morning.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate all your service, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Again, congratulations to Ken and Jason. You're both too young to retire, as far as I'm concerned.
Mr. Chair, if I might,
Go ahead.
I would like to introduce Ryan Hanch.
Go ahead.
Ryan, why don't you come on up? Ryan is an assistant McLeod County attorney right now, and he will be this is the end of his first week, and he will be an assistant county attorney probably until about 8:30 or 9 o'clock on January 3rd, in which he'll take my spot. So welcome, Ryan, and these are the folks you'll be working with.
Thank you, and I've met all of you, but looking forward to working with you, and enjoyed working with Mike here this last week and the next couple of weeks, and he's been very helpful, so looking forward to it.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. All right, consideration of agenda items. Is there any additions or corrections?
No, Mr. Chair.
Move to approve the agenda.
Second. Motion made by Commissioner Nagel and seconded by Commissioner Luthens to approve the agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda, any additions?
No, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Wright and seconded by Commissioner Nagel to approve the consent agenda. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Soil and water. Ryan.
Hello. Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Mark.
Go ahead. I was just going to say, you don't look like Ryan. He
Well,
he always passes them duties on if he can. I know
Yeah,
that.
there you go. Good morning. I'm Mark Schnobrick, McLeod County Soil and Water Supervisor,
I'm John Adamic, supervisor also.
and we are here this morning to give you, the county commissioners of McLeod County, a Conservationist of the Year for McLeod County. And I, along with our chair, Charles Matthews, and Joel Grebe, and Gary Templin, want to honor you this year for assisting us with a number of projects, and we have some awards for you here. This award is given from us, of course, and in conjunction with our State Association of Soil and Water Conservation Districts. And good to see you all again. I know some of you attended the award ceremony in Minneapolis last week, and you are given this honor because of your one, consistent support of us as a Soil and Water Conservation District, and two, because of a special project. I'll let John speak a little bit about that.
You go right ahead.
Oh, thank you. As you know, we work with private landowners, both public and private landowners, on a volunteer basis to do conservation on the lands. And we honored you this year because you assisted us and our staff, Ryan Freitag and Colton Drager, in assisting the city of Winstead Lake and County Ditch number 11, thank you, in putting in a massive project there to try to assist with some clean water funds. And also, personally, with us as supervisors, I want to let you know, and I think I spoke to you the other day about it, that a lot of soil and water districts don't have the support of their county commissioners like we have with you, and we want to thank you also for that. But we picked you this year for assisting us with that project, so we'd like to pass out these awards to you.
While John's passing out the awards, I also I appreciate the working relationship that your board has had. I think a lot of it, I don't think it could have been done without our staff, with Ryan. The joint powers agreement that we've done is working really good. I think we iron out some of our differences and concerns and priorities, but I don't know what it is, but it's working. I talked to a lot. I did it at the convention the other day. I think you guys owe yourself some gratitude as well for helping us get that done.
I did notice at the convention that we were there, I think John Jancic, who is the director of the Bowser Board of Soil and Water Resources, I think he came up and maybe shook a couple of hands if you remember him speaking to you. I just want to let you know that they know that at the state level. And again, I'm a little involved with that and informed the rest of and I think John has too, that a lot of soil and water districts aren't blessed with having that same relationship. So we want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
Hannah, do we want a picture or do with that as well? don't get plaques every day, so.
You guys set the time. Oh. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
Do you have other, maybe if we could have Ryan and Colton, the others from SWCD come up?
I'll take these.
And Ryan, your other officials that are here? Do you have any others? Oh, I thought you had more coming, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're covering it up now, huh?
Here we go. 1, 2. Thank you.
We need to get bigger plaques.
Hey, are you done yet? Is it January 3rd?
We're going to get the last word.
Come on up. Let's just get this over with.
Okay, moving on, Health and Human Services, Barrett.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. I have 4 items before you today. Item A is to consider approving the 2023 Hispanic Outreach Worker Contract Renewal with Carmen Patino for the period of January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023 at a rate of $37.02 per hour with funds from the County Public Health Nursing Budget 01-485. Services provided will include assistance with our WIC clinics and activities, child and teen checkups, family mentoring, and interpretation and translation. This is a 3% increase from our current 2023 contract.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I'll move a request made by Barrett. I believe a 3% increase is a justifiable number to use, and appreciate that consideration from the rest of the board.
Motion made by Commissioner Smalls to approve the outreach worker contract. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Luthens. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item B, consider approving contract renewal with Brown County Evaluation Center Incorporated to provide detoxification and evaluation services to referred clients for the period of January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023 at a rate of $460 per patient per 24-hour period, beginning at the time of admission. And with mileage billed at $1.21 per mile if the client is unable to provide their own transportation, with funds from the Human Service Fund 11-430. McLeod County will receive a discount of $88 per recipient for all amounts paid within 30 days of receipt of bill. This is a 3% increase from our current 2022 contract rate.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I'll move request as presented.
Motion made by Commissioner Smalls to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion, or seconded by Commissioner Luthens. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item C, consider approving a contract renewal with the Woodland Centers Act, which stands for Assertive Community Treatment Team, for the period of January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2025, at a cost of $60,000 with funds from the Human Service Fund 11-430. ACT is a service model provided by community-based mobile mental health treatment teams. It's designed to provide comprehensive psychiatric treatment, rehabilitation, and support. Services will be reimbursed at a rate of $20,000 per year and billed quarterly for years 2022, 2024, and 2025. This rate remains the same as our current county contract.
Commissioners,
Mr. Chair,
go ahead.
I will move a request as presented.
Motion made by Commissioner Schmalz to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Luthens. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And my last item, item D, consider approving a contract renewal with Hutchinson Health to provide outpatient mental health services for the period of January 1st, 2023 through December 31st, 2023, at a cost not to exceed $15,000 with funds from the Human Services Fund 11-430. Hutchinson Health will provide the following outpatient mental health services: testing and evaluation, group and individual therapy, services to clients after hospitalization, medical review, review, medication management, and maintenance of effective communications to a client's physician. The services will be billed at those rates, and those rates are approximately a 2% increase from our current 2022 contracted rates.
Commissioners, again. Motion made by Commissioner Wright to approve.
Second?
Seconded by Commissioner Luthens. Any discussion? I just have one quick question. Is there, I mean, this is quite a litany of services, and it's a close provider. Is there, I mean, is it easy? Is there a waiting period, lead time to get these services? Are they pretty speedy?
They're pretty speedy. Sometimes we do have a waiting time, but these services are pretty specialized, and so I would say not many people need these specialized services all the time, so.
Okay, thank you. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Matt, Information and Technology. Morning, Matt.
Good morning. I have 3 items this morning. The first one is to consider approval of a 3-year Microsoft Enterprise Agreement with SHI of Somerset, New Jersey, state contract at a cost of $513,587.40 with funds from the information technology budget. The contract will be paid out in annual payments of $171,195.80. This agreement covers all of the Microsoft software that the county uses from desktops, including the Windows, Excel, Word programs, and others, to servers, the Windows Server, SQL Server, SharePoint, Exchange, as well as cloud-hosted services, Azure Active Directory, anti-spam filtering. With this new agreement, the county will transition from the traditional on-premise licensing to the Microsoft Office 365 or M365 cloud licensing for Office software, email, SharePoint, and more. The county's previous agreement, EA agreement, expired November 30th, 2022. With M365 licensing, we will replace our current email encryption solution, which will be a savings of about $10,000 annually. Additionally, over time, we will be able to reduce our on-premise primary storage needs as well as we migrate email, SharePoint, and other data to M365 Cloud. M365 comes with many new or additional features that we do not currently have today that are only available with the cloud licensing. As we adopt the M365 and many of its new features, there will be productivity savings with staff. A 3-year Microsoft Enterprise licensing agreement with traditional on-premise licensing was quoted at $521,178.30 with 3 annual payments of approximately $173,726.
Board, any questions for Matt? He's laid it out here pretty well. Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I'm glad this makes sense to you. I will move to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Nagel to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Wright. Discussion? Yeah, I just, it doesn't, I join with Joe, but I understand the importance of it just enough, and I assume that it's worked out within your budgets. It was something that you planned for. And
Correct, it's planned for in the budget.
very good. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries.
Next item is consider approving a quote from Exigent Solutions of Minneapolis, Minnesota for Commvault Metallic Office 365 Backup Essentials annual subscription at a cost of $12,797.36 with funds from the information technology budget. Data protection of backups are essential to ensuring that data can be recovered or restored if it is accidentally deleted, becomes corrupt, or otherwise unusable. Data protection is not included as part of the Microsoft 365 cloud licensing. In order to protect the data that we store in M365, we need a product that specializes in data protection or backups. Commvault Metallic is able to back up and restore data stored in M365. A second quote was provided by Commvault of Tinton Falls, New Jersey for $14,240.88.
Questions?
I move to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Luthens to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Smalls. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. C.
Consider approving statements of work from Now Micro Inc., Mendota Heights, Minnesota for professional services related to migrating to Microsoft 365 at a cost of $28,800 with funds from the information technology budget. Now Micro has provided 2 statements of work. One statement is for the migration of on-premise email to M365 for $18,000. The other statement of work is for the migration of on-premise SharePoint for $10,800.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
And Matt, is this a one-time fee just for setting up the new software?
Correct.
Move to approve, Mr. Chair.
Motion made by Commissioner Smalls to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Luthens. Any more questions or discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. Auditor Treasurer Connie. Morning, Connie.
Good morning. This one on? Yeah. Today I'm here for 2 items. The first is a notification to the county board per Minnesota statutes 469.175 subdivision 2 of the city of Hutchinson's proposal to modify the development program for the development district number 4 and establish tax increment financing district number 4-23. The draft TIF plan and fiscal impact notice were included in the board's packet. The proposed plan statement of objectives notes that the district currently consists of 1 parcel of land and adjacent roads and internal rights-of-way. The district is being created to facilitate a 21,000 square foot expansion of the RD machine facility in the city. Development is likely to occur in 2023, although at the time of the plan, a developer hadn't been contracted yet. The city has scheduled a public hearing for Tuesday, January 10th, 2023, beginning at approximately 5:30 p.m. in the City Council chambers of Hutchinson City Center to receive public comment on the proposed TIF district. Comments or questions may be directed to the City of Hutchinson Administrator, Matt Yannick, at 320-587-5151. This is just a notification to the board, and just in case you have any comments on it.
Is there any questions for Connie?
No.
There's no, other than notification, there's really no impact to the county.
Correct.
Thank you. Move on.
The second item that I have is a public hearing,
Motion to open up
but
public hearing.
it's scheduled at 9:30.
At what time?
5
We
minutes,
got
5 minutes
7
early.
minutes, 6 minutes.
Okay, we'll have to, have you got some information to fill the gap?
Not really.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
Do you want to do your calendars?
Yeah, so you couldn't do the calendars last time? Did you
Sure.
want to do part of that at least, so it's a little bit less time? Thank you.
We can go ahead with our calendars for a few minutes. Joe, do you want to start?
Just a second. Let me get.
I have to find mine as well, so don't feel bad.
Yeah.
Well, we, as mentioned, we moved on from our calendars 2 weeks ago because of time constraints. So I'll try to go back here and just hit the highlights for you. I wasn't ready, I'm sorry. I'll just go back a couple weeks. Had the AMC conference in Bloomington, attended, and this will be similar to other commissioners, attended
policy committees that we're assigned to. I'm assigned to the Public Safety Policy Committee. I attended those meetings along with some other general informational meetings throughout the week and some keynote speakers, basically which focused on leadership more than anything. We had our county board meeting 2 weeks ago, or roughly 2 weeks ago on the 8th. It was an evening meeting, met with the elected officials, and then went into the Truth and Taxation meeting later that night. Looks like I've got some union negotiations on the calendar. And that's pretty much it, because I think this cough that you're all hearing took me out of a few meetings, so I'll stick with that. Sorry for...
Commissioner Wright?
Yep. Let's see, go back, catch a few. We did have, between McLeod County, Wright and Meeker, interview process to fill our agronomy individual, and we did find one. So that interview process was a few weeks back. We just had the announcement yesterday that the individual that we had selected to accept the position will be starting January 2nd. Taylor Herbert is her name. So she will be covering the 3 counties, working with producers of mainly crop producers. Our others will be taking care of horticulture and livestock related issues. A lot of times these are University of Minnesota graduates. This one's actually a University of California, Davis. So comes from across the country for that to serve here in Minnesota. But she has been active within our extension system already in the state, and so we feel we have a very good individual to serve our producers here. We did have a meeting with Public Works Regional Extension and Administration on filling a management position within that department that we'll be getting to hopefully in the turn of the next year. I did attend the award program last week at the Minnesota Association of Soil and Water Conservation, and yesterday economic development meeting.
Thank you. I'll just recap our last few weeks here as well. I had, during the AMC conference, I had an MRC board meeting. Pretty much all my focus on a number of these meetings was in drainage. There's a lot of things going on right now with drainage, with a different administration and a lot of new people, and some changes, some possible changes in drainage law. Again, I had MRC that one evening, and I also had policy committees in AMC, pretty much around DNR, environment and drainage, and along with, I did attend the MTIC annual meeting. I also then, on the 8th, did a drainage work group, again pertaining to what I just alluded to. It's just all trying to figure out policies and how to go forward with recommending some new changes to the legislature. We did the elected officials reviews on the 8th. I had ATP 8, which is Transportation for District 8 through Mid-Minnesota, on the 9th, department head on the 13th. We also had a ditch hearing on the 13th with CD 13 and CD 2. Attended the awards banquet with our SWCD on the 14th, and that brings us to now. Go ahead, Commissioner Luthens.
It's 9:30.
We'll finish, we might as well finish these.
All right. I too attended the conference, AMC in Bloomington. County Board on the 8th, Truth and Taxation. On the 9th was SMAMHC. 13th was a ditch, 1329, not 2. And again on the 14th, kind of that awards program for SWAD. And 16th on a Friday at a ditch meeting in Sibley County on ditch 19. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'll try to be brief with my report. I'll go back to November 15th. We did a county board meeting and workshop right here at the Government Center. That afternoon, I had a well-being committee meeting, which I did by Zoom. On the 17th of November, Thursday, I had a UCAP meeting, Joint Powers Board, and I was lucky enough to be able to attend that by Zoom. And that evening, I drove to Wilmer and did a Pioneer Land Library Joint Powers Board meeting to finish that week out. Following week, the 22nd of November, myself, along with Commissioner Kruger, attended a Buffalo Creek watershed hearing pertaining to ditch matters that was held at the Glencoe City Center. And now it gets me to the week of Monday the 28th. I did a Zoom meeting that was hosted by one of our neighboring counties and AMC. And the topic of the meeting was the staffing and the lack of compensation provided by the state when it comes to DOC and Corrections Department staffing. Tuesday the 29th, I was invited to a town hall meeting that was hosted by Hutchinson, and the topic of that meeting was to discuss and bring light to the community the lack of infant care and child care that we have, not just in Hutchinson, but countywide, and I believe we can also say statewide. So we need to keep that conversation going and make sure that we're doing what we feel is responsible to see. I mean, there's no one entity that's going to solve this problem. It's going to have to be a solution, you know, that is shared by many entities, whether it's government, whether it's industry. We certainly do not want to infringe on, you know, the mom and dad daycares that we do have operating. So, I mean, we're going to have to keep that discussion going and hopefully, you know, start looking creative and think outside the box on what we can do to solve the problem we have.
Thank you, Commissioner Smalls.
Should I keep going? I mean, now I'm up to the AMC conference, which was already mentioned, and likewise, the 8th of December, the TNT County Board meeting and workshop was already mentioned. The 9th, I had a Central Minnesota Jobs and Training Joint Powers Board meeting, followed by a Union Negotiations Committee. Last week, we had a ditch hearing here on the 13th for County Ditch 13 and 29. On the 14th, attended the Soil and Water Conservation District Awards luncheon in Bloomington. 15th did a response that county attorney was doing as far as us assessing our county administrator and her job performance. And on the 16th, I did what we call a SHAC meeting by Zoom. SHAC is a, shall I call it a state advisory group pertaining to public social services and services that can be provided. And I actually had a meeting yesterday in Hutchinson at the solid waste with our CHB director, Kaisa, looking at where we are going in the year to come. Brings us to today, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Mr. Young, have you got anything?
Nothing.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I just have one quick thing. And since everyone's here, I'd like to do it now. But Mr. Young was recognized at the annual Minnesota County Attorneys Association as the Distinguished Service Award, the MCAA Johnson Distinguished Service Award, which I believe is the most prestigious award that you can receive. And it is not just for someone who's retiring. I looked back at the past recipients, and it was very impressive to see that Michael Young was chosen for this award. I wasn't there, so I don't have a lot of knowledge about it, but it was very impressive to watch the speech that was given in his honor, and he should be recognized for that excellence, and we are proud that he received this award.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Also, Mr. Chair, it is difficult to hear for some reason today. We do have the volume turned up, but if everyone could move their microphones a little closer to them when they're speaking, it would be better. And then if anyone from the audience does come to the podium, you do have to be pretty close to the microphone for it to be heard in all of the rooms. Thank you.
Okay, 9:34:05, we can, I'll take a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Small, seconded by Commissioner Nagel, to open the public hearing. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Public hearing is now open.
Okay, so item A is to consider approving the McLeod County Drainage Authority's August 31st, 2022 meeting minutes on the matter of County Ditch 5.
Entertain a motion to approve the minutes from August 31st.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Smalls. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Luthens. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved. Go ahead.
Item B is to consider approving the agenda items for the continuation of the County Ditch 5 public hearing.
Any additions or corrections to the agenda, or else I'll ask for a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Nagel to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Luthens. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And then the purpose of the hearing, I believe Attorney Mike Young will help us out.
Go ahead, Mike.
Thank you. The purpose of this hearing is to decide where we go from here. After the redetermination of benefits was completed, the board directed Houston Engineering to prepare a repair report. During the process of examining the system once again, the engineering firm found that the viewers had missed a substantial area of benefited properties. The total amount of the area that the viewers missed is about 20% or 25% of the entire watershed, and it's the land that basically lies south of 165th Street. It would probably have less than a 15 or 20% impact on the benefits because it does have it's a substantial distance from the main trunk of the ditch. So it's going to have the 10% per 40 knockdown of benefits. So this board, and I might as well jump right into D, what you have to decide now is where do we go from here. It's a mistake. It shouldn't have happened. The viewers made the error. We have to acknowledge that. And you can either do nothing, and that is don't do anything about the faulty benefits, don't repair, just sit. That's an option. It's always an option. Second option is to repair with the current benefits. It's faster. And I'll get into that a little bit more because I sent all of the commissioners a copy of an email that we received from Chris Otterness at Houston, and there are some other factors that you ought to consider. But one of the options that you have is to repair with the current benefits. It would be quite a bit faster. The liability is you have fewer people to pay. A third option is to make a finding that the current lands benefited don't accurately reflect the actual benefited lands, and order a redetermination of benefits once again. It would make the system more accurate. It gets more people to pay if you do the repair. The second redetermination can use all of the information from the first redetermination and should be substantially less expensive, but the process is the same, and it's going to take you probably 6 to 9 months to get back to where we are right now. I referred to the email from Chris Otterness, who is the engineer with Houston. They're the ones that discovered the problem. And I just wanted to go through what his 5 points were, and then we can open it up, and you can ask any questions of me or take public input. His first point was, though the area that was inadvertently excluded by the viewers from the redetermination of benefits was considerable, the total benefit received by the lands from CD5 is relatively low due to its proximity to the outlet and the relatively high average distance those lands are away from the ditch. Because of that, a future redetermination that includes that area will proportionally decrease the percentage of system benefits for the lands currently benefited, but likely this decrease will be relatively small. I don't know what the term relatively small means. Number 2, the current redetermination of benefits is valid as much and more so as any system that hasn't had a redetermination of benefits in the past. Knowing that the redetermination of benefits isn't perfect does not preclude the Drainage Authority from completing maintenance, though it may choose to hold off on some expenditures with the understanding that a process to update the benefits is underway. 3, one of the biggest concerns on the proposed County Ditch 5 repairs is the low area in the middle of the system where we had challenges under normal conditions to even survey the channel bottom. Parents, we were actually able to do a survey of the channel this fall due to abnormally dry conditions. In our cost estimate within our report, we assumed that a contractor will have to work off of mats through this entire section, which substantially increases cost, typically almost double. Eddie Pica, in discussions with Adam, feels that the dry and frozen conditions now provide nearly the perfect opportunity to get this area cleaned out in the next couple of months without the use of mats. This will increase the cost of repairing this section of ditch by half or more.
Excuse me, decrease.
What? Oh, I'm sorry.
You said it.
Will decrease. This will decrease the cost of repairing this section of ditch by half or more. We are unlikely to see a time in the foreseeable future where we have these kinds of conditions. If the cleanout of this section is delayed, the benefiting landowners will likely pay more than double the cost for repairing this section of ditch. This doubling, or nearly doubling, will likely occur regardless of if the new lands are added to the benefits rolls via a new redetermination of benefits. In our opinion, it is in the best interest of the benefiting landowners to complete the repairs from Station 124 to 159 as a separate project this winter as soon as possible. This cost of this work will be substantially less than the 175 statutory threshold and can thus be contracted through the solicitation of quotes. Delaying other portions of work along the system until next fall will not significantly diminish the efficacy of repairs completed this winter. That's where we're at.
I have some comment, or some thoughts as well, but is there questions up to now on what Mr. Young just said? Go ahead. Stand up, your name and your location.
So I'm going to be passing out a map. It's the green hatched area at the south side that is the omitted area. And I'm going to give some to the landowners.
Okay, I'm Nate Eide. I own land on that ditch system. I also have land in this proposed 850 acres that was left out. Back at one of the public hearing meetings that we had, it was during that whole COVID thing, we had it up at the Hutch Fairgrounds at the Agribition building up there. I specifically asked this question about why this was left out. What Attorney Michael Young brought up was number one. It was left out because the benefits would not outweigh the cost of surveying this, and that's why it was left out. And there was a whole lot more people involved at that hearing and Zoom meeting and everything else than there is here today, okay? Now, if that ring is brought in, whatever. to me, nobody had an objection because we all said, yeah, it's so close to the end that there's not going to be a benefit. Now we're sitting here having this discussion and we're looking at another 9-month delay because of this. This was already discussed as far as I'm concerned. So I guess that's what I got to say, because it's in the meetings and if it was recorded or whatever, but this was already taken care of. So I don't know why we're re-entering this discussion.
I don't recall that at all, so Mike, or Mr. Young, I don't remember that comment at all.
I don't recall the comment. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm not saying it did. The viewers missed the area in the green hatched area.
I never got one here. No.
Okay.
But I was told where it was.
Okay.
There's 9 landowners involved, and basically 2 of us.
So it should be the area that's roughly south of 165th Street.
Yes, and I was told the part north, and that's where I'm getting at. TriTag told me it was the part north.
North is up. So
Right.
So the legend on the lower.
So it's a green area.
Right.
So the part that I brought up, what Ryan told me.
Have I got it wrong?
Ryan, you told me
Have I got it
wrong.
opposite?
The green hash is already included.
Oh.
The green hash should already be in there.
Okay.
And you're saying that it's not.
No. One of those 2 areas isn't in. If the green hash is in, then the area above it is out. Ryan, which is it?
Someone let's be accurate on this, please.
Mr. Chair, I just want a reminder that if anyone speaks, you'll have to come up to the podium or it doesn't go on the camera. Thank you.
So the green hatched area is the watershed for County Ditch 5. The area to the north of the watershed, it's outlined roughly in red, is the watershed to the ditch that flows into the end of County Ditch 5.
Correct. And that's what we're discussing. It's a red area.
Yep.
That was omitted, not the green area.
Correct.
Okay.
So that's where we were at.
Okay, I'll stand
Right.
correct. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're on the same page.
I didn't tell you wrong.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, because with that meeting, I don't know if the commissioners were on Zoom or whatever it was, but there's basically 3 of us that control the land in that area. So, and even our landlords were asking, well, we should be included in that, and that's what the answer I gave them. No. So now we're back here doing this discussion again.
So the green area is in, the area north of it, outlined with the red line, is what was missed. Sorry about my mistake.
Well, I can't, just from what I know about, I work quite a bit with drainage, I don't know why you would admit doing any land out of a watershed on a redetermination, because that, other than to charge a redetermination, and that's the only way you would know, I don't know why it would have been admitted.
I agree with you, and what I was told is, I think, Eddie, is that about 200 feet from the end of it?
I would say it's roughly, 3 to 4 arms from the end that ditch comes in.
Right, and that's what we were told at the time.
Well,
So I don't, whatever it is, but this question had already been brought up at previous. Eddie, you remember that? Okay.
well, first of all, it doesn't change the options. Mr. Young gave the options, so they don't change. Now, I asked the viewer to be here that viewed this land, but and he is here, and but there's a perception that, and unfortunately these days a lot of perception is reality, that it's not done fairly, and I don't know, going down the road without viewing this whole area, that this perception won't persist, and somebody will always be wondering, did somebody benefit and I got to pay, and with that, I just want to make sure I have talked to the viewer. He had acknowledged that this was left out. He gave me a not to exceed number. He wouldn't charge to do any viewing over. He would bring up this date, the old viewers as far as values, and then do the additional land at $4 an acre cost, which amounts to a little over $3,000. I just wanted you to know that while you're thinking about what you want to do. And with that, I mean, I can't think of anything. Do you all have any questions? I mean, we can't go back. I appreciate, I don't know what happened there. I can't imagine that I would have voted for leaving a part out, because that just doesn't make sense to me, but I get older too, so go ahead.
I have a question. My name's Mark Schwarzy. My father, Bill, we have some property along the drainage. You had mentioned that it's cheaper to do the middle section. That's kind of where our property is. It's bone dry in there. I've spent time down there 30 years. It's never been as dry as it is right now. If we move forward with that to save the landowners money, could the redetermination come after the fact then to include this part that's missing? Because
Yes.
we have to include that part that's missing. You have to do it accurately.
It can, but you will pay the redetermination benefits that's in effect now will pay. And
So a redetermination done after this would not impact?
Not for that project, no. I mean, you can do a part, like you're saying, but the costs would go, and it probably is worth doing the math. The part that you would improve or repair right now would be paying into the old benefits.
No, not the old benefits, the
middle
redetermined
benefits.
benefits, but it would, so there are fewer people paying, but it would be based upon the benefits that were most recently approved. If they do a redetermination of benefits also, then it can only apply to costs that are incurred after the approval.
Okay, got it.
So we haven't improved.
So
Right.
if we
You're on
did
the right
repairs
track,
now-
but
Right, it wouldn't get, those extra 800 acres would not pay for any of that moving forward.
okay, one more piece of information that might help everyone. Joel, can you come up and give me a timeline or lead time on what your best guess scenario of getting this done and getting it back to the board?
Yeah, as far as the timeline, we'd put this on the front burner for the fact that it was our admission. It should not have happened, and I do apologize for that, but the outlet was obscured and we didn't catch it. But as far as timing goes, we'd be able to work on that and get a final report to the auditor treasurers by I'd say by the end of January. So I'd say within a month, we'd be able to get that turnaround with that additional 800 and approximately 40 acres, as well as an updated redetermination with current market value prices. Those prices have changed since 2020 when this was originally approved. And we'd also consider the potential valuation changes in one of our classifications, the A-minuses specifically, with additional information from the engineer's report. Some of those areas, if they aren't going to be benefited as much as we anticipated, if that hydrology does change from the original design, we would definitely make those considerations and incorporate that in. So I'm looking at the end of January to have that report updated.
Just to be clear, after I looked into it, we pointed out some inconsistencies that would be worked out with this redetermination at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, those A-minuses that were in question. As far as inconsistencies, I feel comfortable the way they are called right now with the
My word's
information.
inconsistency, I
Okay.
understand.
But yes, I mean, we would look at all the A-minuses in the system to make sure that the new information that we received through the engineer's report is reflected in the hydrology considerations that we make as the viewers.
And Joe and Connie, now you're saying in a month or end of January, which is a little over a month, you say we could have the report back and the landowners review or their whatever the right word is to come in and discuss it. You think you could get that done by the end of January?
No, I mean, as far as getting the report to Connie and her office, but then the whole process of the redetermination process of posting public hearings, that's going to take time.
That'll take another month.
So it's going to be the end of February.
Yeah.
And just another option, can you go ahead and approve the cleanout work with regard to that middle portion that Otterness is talking about, and also do the redetermination? The answer is yes.
Good answer.
But with the understanding that whatever is done now, as far as a repair, is going to be paid for by the benefits without the 800, or whatever the number of acres is.
But the math may show, and I'm just telling, because I'm going to kind of, and I don't think I'm going to get a disagreement from the rest of the commissioners, it's kind of going to be your guys' choice. That the math is there to know whether you can do that part and still be all right with the redetermination that is there now. But that's your choice.
Where is this map?
Well, I mean, you'd have to,
Go back home and figure out.
no, we have the, don't we have the, don't we have from the engineers, is there a quote for clean net, or do we not have that yet?
Well, you have a quote for the entire project. You don't have a quote just for the middle portion that he's talking about. And the entire project, I don't know, let me look it up.
Right, we talked about that in the summer, the entire project is gonna cost.
But didn't the contractors quote it by foot so we could carve that out of there? Is that what you're asking? I mean,
Well, you're saying, hey, it's gonna be significantly cheaper if we do it this winter.
right.
What does significantly cheaper mean?
Okay, the total,
Eddie's got his hand up, I don't know if you can clear.
I have looked at that section last winter, I took trees off, and I know that section very well. I would suggest that there's about 6,000 feet of below ground that should and could be cleaned. I was down there this fall, and I can walk in on it. So my suggestion would be sitting on swamp mats when it is wet will be about $7 a foot. For me to clean it this winter of that 6,000 feet roughly would be $2.50 a foot to clean it and level the spoils.
Procedure if we would do that, Mike?
So number one, the total repair estimate cost that Houston Engineering had was $609,000. Of that, so that was from their report July 22nd of 22. He is estimating that the middle portion there is going to be substantially less than $175,000. We are able, because of that cap, anything over 175,000, we have to go out for formal bids. Anything less than 175,000, we have to get quotes. And we could authorize Houston Engineering to do that low middle ground and then get quotes, and then we would come back here to the county board in 2 to 4 weeks and approve those. If you go the whole thing, it's going to take substantially longer than that because the formal bidding process takes longer. Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you. Ideas? I mean, I don't know if we can compress them to, I would hope that we could probably get some bids back in a couple, I mean, we just kind of got one right now, but we'd have to isolate that project a little better than we have, and the footage, your guys' thoughts. Connie, you're going to have some work involved here as well.
Well, we will just need to know the names of the viewers if you are going to reappoint, and also I would possibly ask for consideration of the board for the Jacobs team to reimburse for administration fees of this next redetermination report, so staff time and postage.
Okay. Right now, thank you. I'm trying to figure out whether we want to isolate this part and repair this part on the old benefits is right now where I'm trying to go to.
Well, we have a drought that happens about once every 50 years right now, so.
Wayne?
I would say yes.
Joe, can you step back? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioners. Wayne Albright. We've got land on that ditch too, on County Ditch 5. And anyways, I was just talking to Ed, and at 6,200 feet, he lined it out what it would be. at $250 a foot is $15,500, and if we don't do it now and we go to $7 a foot, it's $43,400. So it's going to be a massive savings for us landowners if we do that part now. I guess I'm thinking if we do that now, then have this determination fixed, because that was a mistake there. Get that fixed, and then move on and do the rest of the ditch with the new determination and use the previous benefit determination to clean that 6,200 feet. That way we get this done. It's going to save us all a lot of money, and he can get it done this winter. So,
Mr. Young,
Thank you.
Do we have to put it out for, can we approve a quote or can we not?
You have to have at least two quotes.
Okay.
well, isn't there like a $25,000 max for quoting or something through
Our
the county?
engineer has said it's going to be less than $175,000. If it comes in, and I don't recall exactly what the dollar amount is, but it's like $50,000. If it's less than that, then they can do it on the open market.
Okay,
But I don't, but Otterness says that the part that he's talking about is going to be less than 175 and can be done through quotes.
Okay.
And I don't know.
Well, you know the legality of it. You know,
Mr. Young, could
what's legal.
could this be classified a repair?
It is a repair.
Because didn't we up our limits to, we can do a repair under 40,000?
I think so.
I don't know what Chris Otterness is talking about as far as the area that he's calling low ground. I'm not sure if that's identical to what we are hearing Mr. Pike or others talk about. I don't know that.
Yeah, and we know this area back there, what Ed Peak is talking about, as excavating. Our land is touching that area, so that would be the ultimate, what Ed is looking at, and he's right, he knows that, he did the work back there, and that would be the best to try to get that done in the winter when it's frozen.
I guess my question to you, Mike, is if we send our ditch guys out there and stake off a number that stays under 40,000, can we approve that and then go ahead with this work?
Yes.
And with the new stuff?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to throw it up there, that's what.
But that up to 40,000 is going to get paid for by the benefits that are in place right now.
Correct.
Yep.
So to clarify, we're saying that station 124 to station 159 is 6,000 feet?
That's 3,500 feet.
3,500?
How many feet, Adams? Could you come up?
Adam, come on up. Adam.
You're following my...
Yeah, we need to get them to figure it out. We gotta approve something, we got our first meeting in January to do it, we can still get them on here. They need to know, are we talking 6,000 feet or 7,000 feet?
Yeah, I don't know what a station is, and I don't know that stuff.
But Ed just said to do something.
Or just a recess for 5 minutes and figure it out.
We have a picture of something like
You're in favor of what? 5 minutes recess?
Call it 5 or 10, give them 10.
I'm going to call a 10-minute recess. I was going to do 5, but we won't make a 10-minute recess to get these numbers to where we need to be, because if your consideration of the cost of doing this, and is very important to save this money, we got to get this down pat. So I'll recess for 10 minutes and we'll come back.
Thank you.
Good job.
That's been our whole problem for 40 years.
I got it right here.
You got it for sure?
Yeah, I got it.
So that we know that if we...
Basically, what I got here is what Chris Otterness.
basically what I did here is I got an estimate of what Chris Otter's recommendations, 3,500 feet, basically with and without swamp mats, and that would go through these areas right now. Now, if they want to go a little further, that would be kind of going, I guess you can call it towards the road, I guess you call it, upstream.
That's why he's saying 6,000?
Yeah, and to be honest, 6,000 feet isn't a bad option out there.
Then take the full whatever we got.
Well, I know Brian's, we're talking about, we're just talking back here now about going from road to road, which is about 50, I know that's, but just to do the,
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair. Just giving you an update, we're at 12 minutes.
Okay, let's grab our seats. I think we've got a bit of a plan here.
We're going to do a not to exceed 24. Give them a little bit.
Okay. Have you got it printed out? Okay, good. Okay, we've been talking here. We're going to float. Commissioner Wright will read it off here. Some negotiations or thoughts that we've done as far as getting started now to repair this part. So Commissioner Wright, go ahead.
Yep, thank you. Well, sometimes things get a little bit messy, but the important thing is that we figure out a process. And so I think it's been agreed upon that common sense says let's save some money out there if we can. And there's also taking advantage of the dry conditions during the winter, the level of workmanship that we can get done versus somebody messing around with mats might have something to do with the final product as well. We were able to work out with the contractor that's present to clean through station 17,900, 11,400, and also include a couple hundred feet of branch A. We were able to come up with a price tag and a motion today that'll be a not to exceed $24,000 to get that clean. So, Mr. Chair, that'll be my motion to allow that cleaning to take place. And it sounds like everybody's ready to go between our staff and the contractors.
I'll second the motion.
Just real quickly, to bring Mike up, we found some area to do we're going to cap it at 24,000.
Could you repeat what part you said from foot to station?
Station 17.9 to 11.4, that is the area of concern where the mats be required, that wet bog type area, so. And then also a couple hundred feet of branch A are also included, and if you need a better explanation of that, we're definitely gonna need Adam's help. So I've just got the numbers here that we're able to work out on the map, so.
So I'm going to accept that motion in a second. Is there any questions quick before? Okay, well, go
I
ahead.
don't have the document in front of me. There's also a branch B. It's very small, and I don't know if it falls into that category or not. There's no statements.
Branch B runs, Branch B runs west, right where we're going to start, actually. It runs in back, it runs west. So that would be cleaned out, I think, yep. Branch B runs west. And Branch B starts right where we're going to start at 11-4.
Got it, okay.
We're all good?
Yep.
Okay, motion's been made by Commissioner Wright to start at the mark 17.9 to 11.4 at
200 feet of branch A.
and 200 feet of branch A at a not-to-exceed price of $24,000. It's been seconded by Commissioner Nagel. Is there any more discussion?
And Mr. Chair, what you're intending to do is to authorize Ryan and Adam to allow this work?
Yes.
Yes.
And to arrange for it, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I would hope, kind of be, it's not that long a project, stay there to make sure we're getting it what we need. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we got that part of it done.
Then do you wish to do anything? Do you wish to do anything about the redetermination of benefits? If so, it would take a motion of the board to make a finding that the current benefited acreage does not accurately reflect the actual benefited acreage and order a redetermination.
In my mind, I think we should get it right.
I am too, and I'm, real quickly, my thought is to do that. Is there some, the hearing is still open. Is there any comments from the audience? Seeing none, I would actually make that motion to go ahead and suspend, or what is the right word for the old redetermination, and ask and have them redetermined.
You are making a finding that the current benefited acreage does not accurately reflect the actual benefited acreage for the system and ordering a redetermination to supplement what has previously been done.
And Joe, real quickly, give me that not to exceed number.
It's $4 an acre. And so the number that
3,500, is that?
looked like we were at about. Yeah, it looked like it was about 840 acres is what the engineer estimated. With that number, it would be 3,200 and, I didn't do my math, but.
So let's do a not to exceed 4,000, and then you would also be appointing Joe and his group to do the viewing.
Can you do that in one motion?
Yep.
Okay, the
And the
motion
names are
includes-
Joe Jacobs, Alan Kieber, Brad Wick, and Jeff Johnson.
which includes a not to exceed $4,000 number.
Good.
Again, in that motion, we'd be appointing Joe Jacobs, Alan Kerber, Brad Wick, and Jeff Johnson.
Yep.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Luthens. Any more discussion? I'll run it one more time. We're gonna have the whole system redetermined. We're getting the findings of the old redetermination are not accurate or do not reflect the proper values.
It's not value, sir. It is benefited acreages do not accurately reflect what is actually out there.
Okay. And that there will be a not to exceed $4,000 and the appointment of the viewers. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Now,
So what you've accomplished here is that up to 24,000 of repair is going to be done. The viewers are going to go out. They'll get a report to your auditor treasurer by the end of January. You will then notify of a public hearing and come back probably end of February, beginning of March, sometime to approve the new benefits.
being we're changing years, can we recess this until that's done, or do we?
No, she has to re-notify.
Okay, so we'll adjourn after this?
Yes.
Very well. Is everybody in understanding on the procedure that we're going through now? We're going to get redetermined, get the information to our auditor, and we'll send it out and have a hearing possibly in February or March. Okay, with that, is there anything else that needs to come before this for the good of the ditch system? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Motion made by Commissioner Luthens to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Schmalz. We're adjourned. Public Works, John. Thank you, Paul.
Yep.
Good morning.
Morning.
Item A is to consider adopting Resolution 22CB47 and approving MnDOT Agreement 1052136 for delegated contract process agreement. We've done these in the past. Basically, this agreement allows MnDOT
Can you
to...
take a conversation outside, please? We need to finish our meeting. Adam? Adam.
Again, this agreement between MnDOT and allows MnDOT and local public agencies to have MnDOT act on our behalf to accept federal funds. We've done it in the past. It's just a formality. And recommend approval, unless we don't want federal funds in the future.
Motion made by Commissioner Nagel. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Schmalz. All in favor of Resolution 22CB47, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. B.
And item B, adopting, consider Resolution 22CB48. This is another MnDOT agreement. It's a detour agreement 1051798. Again, we've done these agreements with MnDOT in the past. MnDOT would like to use our county roads 9, 23, 1, 22, 15, and 3 as part of the detour for this summer's roundabout project at Highway 7 and County Road 1. This agreement, the maximum amount that they'll reimburse us is $160,000, which is about twice of what the agreement will be, so somewhere in that neighborhood. But they'll reimburse us for the use and wear and tear on our roads, similar to other years for other different roads for detours.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
John, how do you, if it's not going to be the 160,000, someplace in between?
So the agreement, or the amount in the agreement is around, I want to say it was 70,000. They put 160 in case the timeline goes longer for the project, in case things stretch out. So there's just a cushion on their behalf, so they don't have to go back and reauthorize more money unless it gets crazy, which is this $160,000, which I don't anticipate getting close to.
Thank you.
Move to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Wright. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Luthens. All in favor of approving Resolution 22CB49, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item C is to consider Resolution 22CB49, which is a sponsorship for the City of Brown's application for active transportation funding for the construction of a trail along County Road 25. Active transportation funding is a new MnDOT program that entities can apply for amenities like this, the trails, bike and ped facilities, and so forth. There'd be no obligation on the county's behalf. We've sponsored similar applications like this in the past with other communities. So,
First of all, I'd like to go back then and make sure that the minutes show that the resolution just approved was 22CB48, and this would be 22CB49.
correct?
Move to approve Resolution 22CB49.
Motion made by Commissioner Wright. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Luthens. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And item D is to consider a cooperative agreement with the city of Hutchinson for the 2023 joint reconstruction project we have at County Road 115 and County Road 25 in Hutchinson, otherwise known as Airport Road and Jefferson Street. Similar to other agreements we've done with communities, this agreement defines various rights, obligations, and cost sharing of the project.
Motion made by Commissioner Nagel to approve. Is there a second? Second. Seconded by Commissioner Luthens. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And a number of maintenance agreements we have here. Item E is to consider approving agreement with the city of Winsted for the construction and maintenance of a radar driver feedback sign that we installed on County Road 6 in the city. Like I said, the driver feedback sign was recently installed on the north end of Winsted. The agreement is intended to spell out future maintenance obligations for each party. So what we did with the sign is the city bought the sign. We're going to take care of ongoing maintenance for the life of the sign. City of Winsted did approve this agreement at their December 6th meeting.
Mr. Chair, move agreement with the City of Winsted.
Motion made by Commissioner Schmaltz. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Luthens. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Item F, similarly, consider approving agreement with the city of Plato for the construction and maintenance of a radar driver feedback sign. This one is installed on County Road 9 on the south end of town for northbound traffic. Just like the one in Winsted, the city purchased the sign, we installed it, and we'll take care of future maintenance on it. And the city of Plato approved this agreement on December 12th.
I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Luthens. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
G is to consider approving an agreement with the city of Lester Prairie for the construction and maintenance of a rectangular rapid flash beacon system. Those are the ones you've seen around where there's the signs wigwag on the bottom of them at pedestrian crossings. Similarly, the city of Lester Prairie has agreed to purchase this sign system, which is about $8,000. County will install it and maintain it for the life of the sign. Given the roundabout project coming up and the detour on that route, we thought it was important to have a system like this on that crossing.
Mr. Chair, move agreement with City of Lester Prairie.
Motion made by Commissioner Schmaltz to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Luthens. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
And H is to consider approving an agreement with the city of Glencoe for maintenance and future construction of the multi-use trails along County Roads 15 and 33. So Morningside and then the 33 on the south end of Glencoe between Morningside and County Road 2. As you recall, this summer, we chipped in on that trail for the rehabilitation of the south one. We talked about, the board had interest at the time to get some maintenance agreements in place for ongoing, for future, so this basically spells that out. The city will do the day-to-day and the minor maintenance, and then the county will chip in on if it's bigger rehabilitation projects or bigger preservation projects, the county will chip in on those. But the day-to-day snow removal, sweeping, debris cleanup is the city's responsibility.
It's basically an extension to what we had, is that right?
It's basically how we handle things now is just putting it in paper.
I'll make a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Schmaltz. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I think that covers it. One plug I'll make, if you see a plow driver, give them a hug. They're pretty disgruntled lately, so it's been a tough winter so far for me. Thank you.
Hey, John. What about the state drivers? I see them on the State Highway 7. They're out there every 2 hours going back and forth all night long.
Yeah. No, all the drivers there. It's been a rough year.
I don't mind giving him a hug, but I'll have to tell him you told me to.
Shake their hand and thank them.
All right. Mike, or Attorney Young.
We are not going to ask you to approve this today, but this will come back to you at another time. What this is when we did a safety project at the intersection of County Road 7 and County Road 18, near where Commissioner Wright lives, we moved the center line about 30 feet in to the east, I believe it was. But what we didn't do was abandon the easement beyond 60 feet from the center line. So what I have drafted here is a proposal to abandon the easement that is outside of the 60 feet, and we would have had you approve it, but just to be careful and to double check everything, we did a relocate of all of the utilities, and one of the utility poles is outside of the 60 feet by about 2 feet. So we're going to have to change what we're abandoning.
Yeah, my curve. So.
But there's a 2-foot deal that we have to deal with, and so it'll come back to you, and Ryan will be presenting it to you at some point in the future. Thanks.
Very good, thank you. County administration, we did the review of calendars, so Sheila.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Item A, consider approving the collective bargaining agreement with Minnesota Public Employee Association, Communication Officer and Correctional Officer Unit for the period of January 1, 2023 through December 31, 2025.
Mr. Chair, move approval.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Schmalz and seconded by Commissioner Nagel. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item B, consider approving the collective bargaining agreement with Minnesota Public Employee Association Deputy, so the licensed deputy, unit for the period of January 1, 2023 through December 31, 2025.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Nagel, seconded by Commissioner Schmalz. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item C, consider approving the collective bargaining agreement with Law Enforcement Labor Services licensed sergeants, local number 297, for the period of January 1, 2023 through December 31, 2025.
Move approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Schmalz,
Second.
seconded by Commissioner Luthens. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item D, consider approving the memorandum of agreement for the employer-sponsored health insurance contribution and health savings account contribution with the McLeod County Social Services Unit of the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, also known as AFSCME, Union for the period of January 1, 2023 through December 31, 2023.
Motion made by Commissioner Nagel. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Luthens. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item E, consider approving the memorandum of agreement for employer-sponsored health insurance contribution and health savings account contribution with the McLeod County Public Health Unit of the the Minnesota Nurses Association Union with the McLeod County Public Health Unit for the period of January 1, 2023 through December 31, 2023.
Move approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Schmalz. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Luthens. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Can you pass these down, please? Item F, consider approving the memorandum of agreement for employer-sponsored health insurance contribution and health savings account contribution with the McLeod County Unit of the non-licensed sergeants with the Law Enforcement Labor Services, local number 329, for the period of January 1, 2023 through December 31, 2023.
Move approval.
Motion made by Commissioner Schmalz to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Luthens. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item G, consider approving the memorandum of agreement for employer-sponsored health insurance contribution and health savings account contribution with the McLeod County Clerical Unit with the Teamsters Local Number 320 for the period of January 1, 2023 through December 31, 2023.
I'll move approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Luthens. Motion made by Commissioner Kruger and seconded by Luthens. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. Item H, consider approving the memorandum of agreement for employer-sponsored health insurance contribution and health savings account contribution with the McLeod County Public Works Highway Unit with the Teamsters Local Number 320 for the period of January 1, 2023 through December 31, 2023.
Move approval?
Motion made by Commissioner Smalls. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Luthens to approve. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item I, consider approving, this one is different, just so you know, the agreement to extend the current contract with the Healthcare Savings Plan provider and the McLeod County unit of the licensed sergeants with Law Enforcement Labor Services Local Number 297 from January 1, 2023 through December 31st, 2024. This extends the current contract without any changes and has no negative cost impacts to the county since contributions are drawn from the participating members' allocations.
Motion made by Commissioner Nagel, seconded by Commissioner Kruger. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. Item J, consider approval of the 2023 final McLeod County property tax levy and budget. The preliminary levy of $27,334,294 was approved by the board on September 20th, 2022. This reflected a 5.5% increase over the 2022 tax levy.
We just got the increases handed to us, or the sheet or
It's
comments?
just the information that you had reviewed in the past, Mr. Chair. Thank you for reference.
Mr. Chair, I'll move to approve. Get discussion started.
Motion made by Commissioner Luthens to approve the 5.5 levy increase. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Wright. Any discussion?
I think as Budget Committee has continued to review the numbers, we've had a few savings, we've had a few increases. It still equals out to be about the same in order to maintain safe fund balances and maintain a healthy county. This seems to be where we need to be landing for this year.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Also, serving on the Budget Committee, we talked about in September, I think it was September, how it would be tough to come down. We tried, we looked at it, again, some savings came in, some additional expenses that were realized came through, and this is a number that we were honest with in the beginning, and it's where we're at today.
I want to agree with our budget committees. It's a little higher than I really want it to be, but since we set our preliminary budget, I did a lot of work and talked to a lot of our department heads and obviously went through the budget myself, and in order to remain solid and as healthy as we have been and like I'd like to see, I concur with the budget committee.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
Likewise, I will support the Budget Committee's recommendation on the proposed levy increase.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the budget at 5.5, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll give you a moment to rearrange if you need to look for other information for the next few items. Item K, consider setting the 2023 salary for the elected McLeod County Auditor Treasurer. I've provided the information for reference for the county board.
I have looked through this, and because as a chair, I don't always like to start out leading, but I would make a motion to set the auditor's salary at 101,281. It's an increase, $10,000.
I second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Luthens. Discussion?
Mr. Chair, just give me a moment, please. I need to.
Sure,
look at some
absolutely.
stuff here.
These are big decisions.
Mr. Chair, a question?
Should be a whole pile.
Go ahead.
Each one. Fit in the pile.
The Budget Committee, along with administration, recommends the 112, and you're at 101, you said?
Yes.
Okay, just asking why, I guess.
I went through, if you want reasons, I went through the numbers that I was presented and from other counties, and it was hard for me to go. It has no reflection on any individual or anything, but it was hard to go that high.
All right.
I mean, it kind of stuck out when I put them down, and believe me, I looked at them for a long time. But if you look at the information that we were provided, I looked at other counties like-minded. I tried to take in consideration the populations, and that obviously the workload, and that's what I came up with.
All right, thank you for the answer, and I respect that. I'll vote against it based on administration's efforts and to continue to be consistent with our Keystone study. The fact that our auditor treasurer is combined, some are not, and also runs a license center. So with due respect, I just wanted to be upfront and honest with you in that.
That's fine.
For that right away.
Any more discussion? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor of setting the wages at 101,281, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Roll call.
No.
Mr. Nagel's no. Mr. Wright?
No.
I'm yes. Mr. Luthens?
Yes.
Mr. Schmalz?
No.
Very well. Motion is killed at 3-2.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
I'll throw out the motion to set in the auditor treasurer salary at $112,000 for 2023.
Motion made by Commissioner Nagel to approve the salary at 112. Is there a second?
Second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Wright. Is there a discussion? Hearing no discussion, I will call the question. All in favor of $112,000, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Roll call. Commissioner Nagel?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
I am no. Commissioner Luthens
No.
is no. Commissioner Schmalz?
Yes.
Motion carries at 3-2. Okay, move on.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Item L, consider setting the 2023 salary for the elected McLeod County Sheriff. Again, I've provided you with the market and wage information necessary.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
I move to set the sheriff's salary at $132,000 for 2023.
Motion made by Commissioner Nagel to approve the sheriff's salary at 132 for 23. Is there a second?
Second that.
Seconded by Commissioner Wright. Discussion.
Mr. Chair, I'll just throw this out there. This is one of the toughest meetings of the year by far, as setting the salaries of elected individuals that you work with throughout the year to complete all the services that are required. And these are not numbers that we're picking out of the air. In order to collect the data, the Budget Committee has asked a lot of administration, and I think we all have, that we want to make sure that these are correct. And sometimes these are substantial increases, but we have to compare ourselves to where our neighboring counties are at, where our similar counties are at. And I think we also better acknowledge that we have some superior leadership positions that are filled here. And so it is difficult to look at some of these increases in the past. These positions we've given them hardly anything during the COVID year, and we argued that, and that felt slightly awkward as well. But I was one of them, I guess, that made the mention that this is maybe not the time to look at increases. We look at others in the state now, and there are very substantial increases given to these positions, and we're just acknowledging that here today with the recommendations that have come forward. And so, again, I guess what I'm trying to get to is we did not pick numbers out of thin air by any means. There's a lot of research, a lot of comparisons that have been made. The data's here, it can be presented, and it can be argued. So I just want to throw that in there.
Any more discussion? I also, just to be clear, I did look through that salary range with sheriffs, and I actually am all right with the 132 as well. I looked some cost comparisons and what we asked for and what our county is doing. As an example, in the last few weeks, law enforcement's got their hands full. So. Any more discussion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Item M, consider setting the 2023 salary for the elected McLeod County Attorney. Again, you have the information, market, and wage data in front of you.
Any questions or thoughts on or motions on this? If not, I'll make the motion to approve 135,935.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Kruger, seconded by Commissioner Luthens, to make the 23 county attorney salary 135,935. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Consider adopting Resolution 22-CB-45, setting the 2023 McLeod County Commissioner salary, per diem, and mileage reimbursement rates. And I apologize, but Stefan, could you please bring a copy of the resolution up so that we could hand it to the board? Thank you. I'm sorry I didn't ask you for that sooner, and I appreciate it. Thank you. So I'm just going to read item N again. Consider adopting Resolution 22-CB-45, setting the 2023 McLeod County Commissioner salary, per diem, and mileage reimbursement rates the same as we've done in years past. Once a motion is made, I can pass this down to the commissioners. Again, that information, market, wage data, and research is in front of you as well.
Did you pass them down?
I can.
Can I look at it real quick?
Of course. It's also in the packet.
Okay, I didn't, nothing on there, no, I need it.
Mr. Chair, it's on the back side that I believe you might be looking for.
Oh, speaking of an awkward conversation.
Yeah. Awkward conversation.
I'd say this is, like Commissioner Wright said, usually the most difficult meeting of the year.
Well, I'm going to make a motion to, it's a really tough motion. I mean, I'm just in what we're all going through here. This time of the year is not very much fun, but I would move to set the commissioner wages at $38,000. I'm staying the same. And the mileage, using the IRS mileage with a 15-cent deferral on if there's a car available and you decide to use your own. Can that be done now, or does that have to be done through the fee schedule?
That's done through the personnel policy, Mr. Chair. The resolution only asks for a rate.
All right, we can use the IRS rate. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Luthens. Discussion.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
I will say that, you know, I've thought about my position as a commissioner as maybe, you know, you might be able to call me an employer, and the responsibility that I hold as an employer of county employees, and I kind of set myself a little different when I'm looking at the two. So saying that, that's maybe why I could say I kind of went with the recommendations that were presented, you know, on the previous increases that we did. On this one, I think I'm going to vote against it because my sights are set a little lower than 38,000. Again, I'm using the criteria that I'm separating myself as an employer versus, you know, my responsibility to an employee. So I'm going to vote against the motion, thinking that, you know, I'd be looking for less of an increase than what's proposed.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Chair, can I address the mileage a little bit?
Sure.
Just real brief for those, for years, or at least the 8 years I've been here, we've worked off a calculation on what it, I'm going to butcher this a little bit, what it costs to run our fleet. That admittedly, over the years, we had not looked at that probably aggressively enough or accurately enough, and we did that this year. And the mileage rate versus the mileage to run the fleet is much closer than it has been in the past. That's that 35 cents, and that's why I would be in favor of this being brought up. As far as the wage goes, it's an awkward thing, and I honestly, in this moment, I don't even know how I'm going to vote yet, and we're about 2 seconds away from doing it. So it's hard, it's difficult. I know, and this is going to be taken the wrong way. I know we earn the money, but it is hard and difficult when you're talking about this. With that said, how I base those other decisions through the county attorney, the county sheriff, and the county auditor, which I challenged another commissioner on, that it was based on these real numbers, and these numbers that we went out and got from other entities, the firm that we hire to use, and the calculations that's used across the board for the county. We have made market adjustments to other county employees that were, I don't know, not accurate, and I'm proud of that. But that being said, it is difficult to sit up here and create your own wage, but that's what the nature of the beast is. But that 38,000, if I'm reading this correctly, is within the same or similar numbers and formulas we use for the other county officials. So, like I said, I'm not even sure where I'm going with this yet, but I just wanted to put it out there.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, just,
Anyone else?
am I allowed to comment during this part?
I guess you're.
I just want to add in that the 38,000 is actually below the average. It's actually more than $1,900 below the average of the counties that are just the surrounding and regional that we compared to that they're not even all done yet, actually. Two of the highest cost ones are not done for 2023. That's kind of the hard part, is all of the county board, or a lot of the county boards are doing this at the same time. And then, as Commissioner Nagel noted, we also put it through the process for our Keystone study as if it were a regular graded wage position, and it comes out significantly below that. So when you are looking at that sheet of information too, I would encourage you to look at the 2022 average of those surrounding and regional counties, because 2023 is not done yet, and that's the $42,735 average that you're looking at. So the reason for the $38,000 note, and I don't want to say recommendation, but information is listed there for you. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
I just wanted to add one more comment to what I said about, setting my sights lower than what's being proposed, and that component would be service. I think I entered this position knowing that I was going to do a service to the people who voted me into office. Can I ever be compensated completely for that service? I would say no. So I think if we kind of look at the service we're giving, that's why I can justify, probably supporting a lower amount than what's being proposed. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other? I'm going to comment as well. This was not easy. People that know me, and I'm probably going to be quoted probably more than I'd like to, but before I was a commissioner, I argued against this. I had the same argument Commissioner Schmalz had. And while I was a commissioner, I believe I voted on a no raise, or taking a simply lower wage. But this is what happens. I mean, we exercise it a lot through our employees, and we grow. Things have changed. I don't feel that the 38,000 is as big. If you really do the math, it's not as big as increase as it may sound. And personally, I'm going all the time. So I actually can look in the mirror and say I earn this money. But I am on a team of 5, so I'm also open to that. But I juggle around these figures, and we sit in a position and a population right next to the metro. So we can jog these numbers around to our favor or to less, and that's not what I did. I tried to figure out what I work with a lot of other county commissioners, and both in the metro counties and outlying counties, and that's where I actually came out a little lower than 38, but I made the figure. That's where I made the motion on the 38. And I guess other than talking in circles, I can't do no more. But I understand, and believe me, I fought hard to keep the wages down before. But this is one year I'm breaking. And one thing I haven't said yet is, this is my last term, and there's no doubt about it. I just hope I live through it. But if we want to attract qualified, I'll use the word qualified, good people to come and take these jobs, they're not taking them. They're not, first of all, unless they already have enough money or time, they're not taking them for the money. I mean, we're going to have to do better in compensating, if not this year, next year. I've got a couple years left, but you're not going to get qualified people to run for these positions, and I guess I'll end it there.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
We've done all the homework on it, comparison to Keystone, then the average of the surrounding counties. And I agree with you. If we don't keep up with this and our wages, it will be difficult to find somebody else to run for these positions in the future, or qualified people. So I back to 38,000. Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
A point of clarification before you call the question. Are we establishing a mileage rate for commissioners?
Yes.
With
The IRS.
with this motion?
IRS, sir.
Okay, my point then would be, I mean, I understand, you know, further down on the agenda, we'll be talking about an IRS or something less than an IRS rate. Can we be consistent in what everybody's reimbursement might be? Let's say if we're using a reduction of 15% or 15 cents off IRS rate, can we apply that criteria to us as commissioners as well, whatever amount it may be?
I would say yes, but I have to defer to Mike. We can set them to what we
Mr. Chair, that's and Commissioner Schmaltz, is an upcoming item, and that's a part of the personnel policy. So if you change,
Just review a little bit.
I gotta look at the number, I'm sorry, one moment. Okay, so item P is reviewing the mileage reimbursement rate for non-union employees and elected officials effective January 1st, 2023. That part would go in the personnel policy. The resolution provides the rate information. The personnel policy would provide the parameters of usage.
So would the personnel policy apply to our mileage rate?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks for that explanation. I think that gets me where I need to be.
And one short, I tried to, I spent a lot of time on all these, and I tried to use all those variables, and pretty soon I had so many sheets full of scribble that I couldn't figure out, taking 15 cents out here, use this, I'll leave the per diem the same, raise their wages. It got so convoluted that actually talking with our administrator, you know, pick a number and go with it with an explanation, and I guess.
I didn't say that, Mr. Chair.
No, you didn't help me. I didn't say that.
Okay,
You didn't
okay, just
help me
making
pick
sure.
a number,
All
but
right.
you did help me pick a procedure, and you gave me the information
Correct.
I needed. And the more information I got, the more scribbling I did, and I don't mean this disrespectfully. It took a, and I'm not pushing, I stand by my motion. But I was helped in finding this. These aren't arbitrary numbers. I tried to base it on a reason, so that's what I'm trying to say.
Thank you.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of making the commissioner's salary $38,000 and leaving the per diem the same as they are and using the IRS standard for mileage, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Roll call. Commissioner Nagel?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger is yes. Commissioner Luthens?
Yes.
Commissioner Schmalz?
No.
No. Motion passes at 4-1. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Item P, consider setting the McLeod County mileage reimbursement rate for non-union employees and elected officials effective January 1, 2023. I provided information that is in front of you. Also noting that if this is changed, we would also have to follow up after this meeting with a significant change to the personnel policy to assure that the parameters of the policy change are covered because of the impact it would have with the two different rates. So if you need more information or would like my explanation, let me know. I'd be happy to go over it for you if you would like.
I think, Mr. Chair, I think in the interest of everybody understanding it, and it's been brought up, that if we could give Sheila a little time to give us a synopsis how this would work.
Thank you.
I agree. It was presented to us through some information finding, and I mean, I got it separately from some others, and it seemed like an attractive, or it seemed like a workable number, because some people do want to drive their own vehicles and some don't, so it kind of breaks it down, and we are going back to the IRS standard, so I thought it was worth it, but I'll let Sheila bring it up, and we'll do it at, that fee, at the...
No, Mr. Chair, I would explain now.
Do it right now?
Explain what we're doing.
Right now? Okay.
The fee schedule is separate, so that's
Okay, go
that's the
ahead.
public mileage reimbursement, so I'll go over that as well. So the operating expense of our county vehicle fleet is currently estimated at approximately 57 cents per mile. We've shown that a county-provided central fleet is necessary for a portion of the services that our county employees provide. Other services do not require a fleet vehicle, or the employee or elected official either prefers to use personal transportation, or it is not sensible to use a fleet vehicle for their need. For example, the fleet's located the opposite direction of their destination. It might take more time for them to drive from their home to the county government center than pick up a car and then go to where they're going, and then obviously that costs the taxpayer more. We surveyed other counties. It is common to use the IRS rate with a discount on the reimbursable rate when the requester chooses to use a personal vehicle when a fleet vehicle is available and not being utilized. This does not include when it is more sensible for the employee to use a personal vehicle due to distance and location. We don't want our department heads and supervisors to have more work, and we have a professional environment of employees. There are several other items where the employees self-report the pay code that they are using, and we have not had any significant issues with this in the time that I've been here, at least. I recommend adjusting the 2023 employee mileage reimbursement rate to the IRS rate, implementing a 15-cent reduction when a personal choice is made to use a personal vehicle versus a fleet vehicle. With that, I recommend to adjust the McLeod County Personnel Policy mileage reimbursement, portion detailing the parameters of the updated program at the first meeting in January 2023, if you make a change. The current IRS rate is .625 unless it changed overnight. And the current operating expense is around 57 cents. So with that 15-cent reduction, it would be .475, which is an increase over the .35 currently that we have across the board. And Mr. Chair asked about the fee schedule. The fee schedule is separate. That's a public reimbursement if there were mileage given to someone. Yes, we have a public hearing coming up, I believe, for the economic development policy that was discussed recently. You could add it to that public hearing schedule if we schedule that, correct? Okay.
Well, I think so, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, for the
Go ahead.
sake of moving on, I would move to approve the recommendation in regards to mileage.
With the 15 cent, or just what was explained?
that's what was-
Very well. Motion made by Commissioner Nagel. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Wright, to basically propose the IRS standard with what was explained on the volunteer part of using your own vehicle. Is there any more discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
I gave this some thought, and I'm looking for continuity, for us, for our employees, also looking to see, some justifiable numbers presented. And I appreciate the work that administration and committee has given with trying to find our way through this. I support most of what's being proposed following the Fed rate. The only option that I think I would like to explore would be if our reduction of the IRS rate would be a 10 cents instead of a 15 cents. That's where my head is at, simplicity. And so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to vote against the motion we have on the table, hoping that maybe someone would kind of see the way I'm thinking and go with the 10-cent reduction instead of a 15-cent reduction.
Is there any more discussion to the motion? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor of the motion as stated, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Roll call. Commissioner Nagel?
Yes.
Commissioner Wright?
Yes.
Commissioner Kruger is yes. Commissioner Luthens?
Yes.
Commissioner Schmalz
No.
is no, and the motion carries. Resolution 22 CB 46 at 4-1. Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, I think we were on item P, which is not the resolution.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We need to restate your.
Yep, the motion to set the mileage reimbursement rate for non-union employees and elected officials effective January 1st, 2023 will be 62.5 and the 47.5. Is that clear?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay, item Q, notification that McLeod County has been named in a lawsuit regarding the roundabout construction easement near the intersection of State Highway 7 and County Road 1. Any comment, Mr. Young?
Yes, our only interest in this is that we are one of the recipients of taxes off of that parcel, so the state of Minnesota is doing a condemnation action regarding the land that's around where that roundabout's going to be, and they name us as a party. We don't have to do anything.
Thank you.
And we didn't do anything wrong.
Well,
I don't know that we did anything right, but we didn't do anything wrong. At least in this one.
And these are not real uncommon, are they?
No, it's a pro forma deal. They would name us
Right.
whenever we have an interest.
Thank you. Item R, notification of board workshop following the board meeting on Tuesday, December 27th at the McLeod County Government Center, 520 Chandler Avenue, North Glencoe, Minnesota, unless no further business is needed. And item S, notification of board workshop following the board meeting on Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023 at the McLeod County Government Center, 520 Chandler Avenue, North Glencoe, Minnesota. And the reason I sounded very unsure with item R is because I don't know at what point, Mr. Young, do we determine whether or not we have a meeting on the 27th, or what is our deadline for that? Just to make sure the whole board is clear.
Your deadline is whenever you do an adjournment here, and I would recommend that you do it prior to our closed meeting to review your performance.
So right now is the time to answer the question whether we need a meeting in a week?
Yep.
Do we need a meeting in a week? I'm going to vote no on that.
Mr. Chair, or sorry, Commissioner Nagel, from what I understand from our department heads, finance, and the board thus far, we do not need a meeting on December 27th. And I believe that we only would have to set your salaries and to do the tax levy.
But clarification, do we act, we're not adjourning, we're recessing, I look back in the.
Well, you're recessing, but you're going to recess until January 3rd.
2nd, yeah, no, or 3rd, whatever, yeah, okay.
But if you decide that you need to recess to December 27th, you're free to do that.
I just don't.
Commissioner, I have nothing for, that we need
Mr.
another
Chair.
one this year, but I,
Just a second.
I kept an item O. I
thanks, I was
apologize.
the only one skipping stuff here before, so I'm glad somebody else did it.
I'm very sorry. I turned my page too quickly. Item O, can I go over that now? Would that be all right?
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Consider adopting Resolution 22-CB-46, which is why you were confused earlier. This would be setting the 2023 McLeod County Committee member per diem and mileage reimbursement rates, which the recommendation is the same, to keep the per diem rates where they are at, which is $75 a half day, $125 a full day, and then the mileage reimbursement rates at the IRS rate with the reduction.
So we're on item O.
We are.
I'll move to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Nagel. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Luthens. Discussion? Clear it up again. It's for our McLeod County committee members for their per diem and their mileage. So we're setting them the same as ours. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Stefan. I have nothing else.
So, Mr. Chair, I think the most important thing we have to do by the end of the year is to certify the levy, which we've completed. We've set the salaries, that's done. If there aren't any other contracts, I think our department has been watching for that are floating out there in this new business. I don't believe that meeting on the 27th needs to take place at this point.
And that would be my thoughts. Any other? Okay, with that, now before we get that far, we're gonna We're not going to recess before the closed meeting.
No, Mr. Chair, if you could take the open forum and then the press relations, and then I'll do the ditty about the closed meeting.
Very good. Being we're going to go into a closed meeting, right after these things, I'm going to ask if there's open forum. Is there anybody here wishes to address the board for the good of the county? Seeing none, press relations, any press questions? None of them as well? Go ahead, Mike.
Mr. Chair, it is typical that at this meeting, you would vote to close the meeting to conduct an annual review of your county administrator, Sheila Murphy, and I will assist you in that. It will take about 20 to 25 minutes. And after that, you will open again, but for the sole purpose of doing an adjournment or a recess. The workshop will take place after that. There will be a summary of evaluation that will be put out prior to our next meeting, or just at your next meeting on January 3rd. And this is in compliance with Minnesota statute.
Everyone clear? Apologize to the audience, but I'll take a motion to go into a closed meeting.
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Small. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Luthens. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're now going into a closed meeting. Do we stay in and they're leaving, or?
I'm going to run out the hallway. One door beyond, and then I'll be back.
Thank you. Yes, I do. I had nothing. Let me check.
Hey, Matt.
I'm just here for.
Yeah, everybody that isn't a board member or a has to leave.